Okay. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. I can see there are people joining, looking at the increasing number of participants. And before we move on, can you please use your chat and type something in the chat if you can hear me and if you can see the slides. So these are the two most important things in this meeting. If you can hear me or if you can see the slides. And when you reply, please select that you can reply to everyone. If you could, okay, is the chat working? If there is a problem with the chat, then you can put it in the Q&A. Okay, the Q&A is working, but for some reason, I'm not seeing your messages in the chat.
Perfect. Sorry, can you see mine? Oh.
Yes, I can see yours. Yeah, the intro one. The chat is disabled, okay? The chat is not working. So I guess either you need to unclick this option in the chat if possible next to the option who can use the chat. Oh yes, I have Bojana, Carolina, and we will need the chat. So either I'm counting on you. Anyway, so becoming friends with. Okay, the chat is working now. Yes, Dorota. Oh yes, yes. This is the opportunity and the relief for me because I like to keep things interactive during the session when you are writing things from me. So we've got Georgia, Vilma enabled already. Hello, Yasmina, Kyiv, Ukraine, Bosnia. So there are people joining. Good to have you. There is almost 1 hour ahead of us on becoming friends with the computer-based testing and how to benefit from this relationship. So sit back, grab a cup of coffee, mineral water, take a pen and a paper. Feel free to take notes on anything you feel is worth remembering. And let's move on. Just as an introduction, my name is Bartłomiej Janiak, and I'm a member of a global training team, and I support various markets in delivering some of the programs. And this time, we'll be talking about the Pearson English International Certificate computer-based test. And there is the first session. And please remember that we prepared for you 5 more sessions to go throughout this year. So you see the dates and you see the title. So the next sessions will be on developing specific skills like speaking skills, reading, listening, and writing. And the last one, really important, and I encourage you to attend all of the sessions, will be on computer-based testing best practice, where we'll focus on this proctoring opportunity so that the candidates have a chance to take this test from home, and we'll discover all the things you should remember in running the preparation course so that the exam could go as smoothly as possible. But before we dive into details, there's a first questions I have for you. Can you please think of this sentence, me and computer-based testing, and tell me what is the word, what is the sentence, what is the association, what is the image appearing in your head, and if you could type it in the chat. Me and computer-based testing, anything that appears inside when you read this sentence for yourself. Okay, thanks a lot. Challenging, appreciate. Anyone else? What's appearing inside? Willing to do, okay, like it, but prefer regular testing. Thanks a lot. Very useful, comfortable, stressful. I appreciate it, Mana. Good idea. And I like it. Time consuming. Okay, useful, but needs focus, quick, comfort. Okay, so keep this association in your mind and see if this association is helping you, is like giving you energy, or is rather taking you away from this opportunity. If it's taking you away, it means that probably you need to think of these assumptions because it might be limiting in your performance. Useful and comfortable, comfort, stressful enough. Thank you. Okay, so let's go on. So to start with, please remember that we've created a kind of ecosystem for the assessment, and you see the bricks that constitutes a single unity. So we've got the place category where you are using the test to place your candidates in the appropriate groups. And we all know that it's really important to have a good placement at the very beginning, because when you have the mixed ability classes, and sooner or later they appear everywhere, but it's really important to have, even with these mixed ability classes, the range, the level range as close as possible between the participants. So we've got the benchmark category. So once you are going through the language learning protocol with your students, and you are going through various stages and the various levels, we've got the solutions that will enable you to track their progress on a granular scale. So even within the single level like B1 or B2, you'll be able to track a candidate's progress and basically have a really good feedback report session with them, how they are progressing in this during this educational protocol. And we've got the certified category. So this is where the Pearson International Certificate sits. So this is where you prove your English skills, and this is about the international certificates. So this is about the situation when the candidates are using those international certificates either to apply for a job, or okay, to upskill, to change the profession, or to find a place at some universities if it's recognizable there. And then we've got the verified category with the PT Academic and PT Home. So this is used for the visa purposes and for migration and for university admissions when you'll be studying in English. So today and throughout all the sessions that are happening this year, we'll be diving into this certified category. Okay, so this is the first element. And now, because you are the teachers and you've got your own students, and can you look at your own students, because potentially they are the future computer-based test takers. Yeah, because you've got your own groups, individual, private, or the public, depending on where you are and what kind of institutions you represent. I want you to think of your future computer-based test takers. So it means that the students that you are dealing with right now, or maybe the next semester. And if you could try to describe them, who are they? What is the age group? Okay. What is their preference about teaching? What do they like? What are their interests? And what is their attitude towards technology? Okay. Any questions that sounds interesting to you? If you could use your chat and tell me something about your future computer-based test takers. Okay, so they are the teens. Thanks a lot. University student. Thanks a lot, Yelena. Okay, what else? You can talk about the age group. Okay, how would you describe them in terms of character? Okay, if they are willing to learn, not willing to learn, what is their relationship towards technology? Okay, how would you describe this phenomenon? How do they perceive technology? A bit tired in the restarting process. Thanks a lot, Vilma. Anyone else? Keen on using it? Michał, thanks a lot. Curious millennials, yes. Curiosity might be the word. like technology, but not for educational purposes. When it comes to the gaming, I'm gonna love it. When it comes to watching Netflix, I'm gonna love it. Education, sorry, not my cup of tea. Thanks a lot, Bojana. Motivated. Familiar only with social networks. Thanks a lot. Digital natives. Okay, thanks a lot. So this is the image, and I'm sure you know them quite well. Connected with innovation, and they are motivated. So keep in mind this image, because probably making friendship with the Pearson International Certificate might be a kind of the link, or it might be a part of the nature, but we'll see in a second. So some say, and well, there is evidence towards it, that the learners thrive in environments that are comfortable and familiar to them. Okay, so this is what the research suggests. And would you agree or disagree in this statement? So the learners gonna thrive in environments that are comfortable and familiar to them. Yes, majority of people agree. True, but please remember that this element of comfort, sometimes we talk about step out of your comfort zone and so on, be ready to face this unknown element. So the familiarity, if it's understood in a proper way, it offers a really big chance to thrive. So that first of all, environment, we mean that it should be the part of my nature. So it should be the reality that I'm living in outside of education, outside of the language classroom. So if there is a chance to bring in even a portion of this reality, so that as a student, I would feel, okay, this is something which is familiar because I use these elements in my daily practice. So it could constitute the supportive element. In order to thrive, students need to be exposed. And this is really important in all sorts of teaching. That the term designed by Anders Ericsson, effortful learning, it means so that the students are exposed to a language which is slightly above their current level of competence. So this is a really important notion. So exposing, even in familiar environment, when there is a comfort, you expose them to a level of language which is slightly above. Not too much, because basically you can receive a completely opposite direction. And in this environment, if possible, there needs to be something which is called the knowledge transfer. So the students should have the ability to use their own experience in this educational protocol. So they should be able to make analogies, okay? The same with the computer-based testing. When they take the test, they should be able to make the knowledge transfer from the preparation course. So and we're gonna help you how to achieve it, but they should be able to use their own experience, and there needs to be an emotional agreement. So the candidates needs to know why they are learning, what is the reason, what are the benefits of taking international certificates. And this is a really important question to start at the very beginning of the preparation course. What is especially if it's the private one. So this is the question, what is the reason that you're attending this course, okay? Why are you here? Just to set the intention throughout the course. And you can ask the candidates to put their intention on a piece of paper, and you can stick it on the wall, or you can take the photo of it. And by the end of the course or midway of the course, you can present the photo of this intention, say, okay, that was your intention at the very beginning. Are you still following this intention? Is it still the case for you? So these all elements constitute an environment that is comfortable, familiar, and allows these elements to thrive and to develop. And a bit of research just to support. There is no shortage of multiple research done in this field. Just a free, to give you a flavor, The first one was done with the adult people. They were basically given the abstract equation. So they were supposed to do something with maths. Okay, that they were supposed to arrive at a certain number. However, this calculation was given in 3 different forms. The first one was the abstract equation, so just the odd numbers, and they have to calculate. The second form was the realistic text task, so they were just reading about something. And the last one was the task was presented in a form of transaction of buy and sell. And the percentages that you are seeing that right now, these are the percentages of people who arrived at the correct answer. So as you can see, the 37% only with the abstract equation, because the environment was not familiar. And you could compare it with the 96% of the correct answers, because the familiarity of this buy and sell transaction, the things that they were doing on a daily basis, enabled them to create this knowledge transfer. Okay. The second research, it was done with children. They were presented on the screen some different geometrical forms, and they were appearing on the screen. That the pattern was quite predictable, but not for children, but they were supposed to guess the pattern of those figures appearing on the screen. And when the task was done in a form of that experiment, like at random, without any familiarity, even after the 750 trial, they were just guessing at random. They couldn't get the pattern. The really inspiring element happened when the researchers decided to reintroduce the task in a form of a gamification. So they say, okay, you're gonna play a game. And then 90% of the test takers in the research was able to predict the pattern of these geometrical figures appearing on the screen. And the last one, a very famous, you could use it in your language classes, I think with the B2 students, the radiation problem by Carl Dunker, the psychologist. The radiation problem, basically, imagine that there is a tumor in your stomach. Okay, also this is how it is presented to a candidate. There is a patient with a tumor in the stomach, and there is only one possibility to cure it, or just to remove the tumor, through the use of radiation. And as you probably know, the radiation, it has some benefits, but also disadvantages. It means it's destroying the healthy organs in the human body. So the candidates are presented with this with this task, and they are supposed to create a solution. So there is a malignant tumor in the belly. You can use only radiation. You know that radiation is damaging the healthy cells. You need to create a strategy so that you could remove the tumor, destroy the tumor, however, without killing the healthy cells and just without damaging the patient. When it's presented, even because even the technology right now is much advanced, even if it's presented right now, usually around 10% of people arrived at the correct strategy. And the research is done in several different elements. So the 10%, even for medical students, not impressive, I might say. However, the different groups are presented with something which is called the pre-task. So they are given a text to read, and the text presents a story when there is a history, in old times, ancient times, and there is a fortress, and there is an army attacking this fortress. And they learn about the strategy of the commander attacking the fortress, just using the army, but instead of using all of his soldiers attacking the fortress in a single place, the commander officer decides to separate them into smaller groups and attack the fortress from different sides, and then just create this attack simultaneously. And the third group is given the same text. However, it's instructed that you might be possible to find some analogy between this text and the radiation problem. And just the numbers are speaking for themselves. 10% in the first scenario with no help, 30% when they are just reading about this fortress attack, but the 75% if they are also informed that you can use analogies, you can get the knowledge from this story to create the solution to the radiation problem. Just Google the radiation problem or the candle problem. It's another one, and feel free to introduce this element within your teaching classes just to create extra interest. But it shows that the familiarity is really important. So when the candidates will be able to use the knowledge transfer, when they will be informed that the things that you are doing in the preparation course, using the course book that we are working with, and you will be able to transfer the knowledge and the skills into the computer-based teaching reality, the testing reality, you will success in a completely different, you will achieve success in a completely different rate. So the familiarity, but creating the environment so that the candidates can use their experience in this different reality during the computer-based test. And this is the quick glance at something. That's why I asked you at the very beginning to create a description of your test takers, the teenage groups, the university test takers. What do they like? What's their approach towards technology? And in most cases, just looking at the age groups you gave, you'll be dealing with the digital natives. So this was the research from the 2020, a quite fresh one. So you have all the groups, and either you'll be dealing with the digital native 1.0, or in most cases 2.0, because there is the age group is like 26 maximum, and the minimum is 12. So Pearson English International Certificate starts at the age of 14. So this is the group, and they are called the Generation C, which means generation connected. And they are also referred as a multitasking generation. So you've got the characteristics, and you've got a really small bit about the technology, but it's really important. For them, they are inextricably linked with life. So technology is not something as an extra element or extra opportunity to learn. For them, technology is something that I'm using on a daily basis, and it's part of my nature, and it's part of my environment. So this is something what we want our candidates to work on. So something which is part of their nature. So the news sharing via internet, and there is a high stress on the digital image. That's why you've got this Instagram, you've got the TikToks, anything just to create this digital image. And some further explanation. Sometimes those, they are called as like post-email generation, because they are no longer using emails, but they are using different communicators just to share the messages. There is constant access to electronic devices. This is no surprise, like the mobile phones and the cameras. The internet dating, yes, that's true. The finances, probably most of us are paying the finances via the internet. And constant reality show, yes, the emotions via the internet. If you have the Facebook wall page, this Instagram, the more emotional the story, the bigger the likes, etc. I'm not judging the positive or negative, because every coin has two sides. But this is the description from the science about these digital natives to zero. This is the part of nature, and there are no boundaries between online and offline. The challenge happens when there is no internet, and then there is a situation like, how should I live in this reality when I cannot communicate? So having this description in mind, I put a scale, an image of a scale, which suggests or indicates that as a teachers or as educators, we should aim to balance this reality. So we cannot remove it because that's embedded in the nature, but we should aim to balance this reality, just offering the chances to interact with the physical connection, just to work in the classes, but at the same time, show and appreciate the fact that the nature that the digital natives are living in is the technology. So they are not learning about it. They are saying that this is me and I need access to it. So the computer-based testing within this reality, when you'll be launching the preparation course or you'll be getting your own candidates, you might be, or for sure you'll be getting questions about the computer-based testing. And the first task for you that I have is, in a second, you will see the link in the chat. I want you to open the link and I want you to study the page. Just be extra curious. Study the page for 2 minutes only and try to discover as many things that you might consider useful for your test takers as possible. And if you find something that, this might be useful to tell them about the computer-based test. If you find something useful, just type it in the chat, okay? Open the link, use your curiosity, just try to discover as many interesting details as possible about computer-based test. 2 minutes, off you go. And if you find something interesting, just type it in the chat, or you can copy and paste. Just don't copy whole paragraphs, but just the sentences, just the summaries. Okay, Dorota, thanks a lot. Tests can be taken securely from home. Okay, or from the authorized test center. Okay. The time that suits the test takers. Okay, you can take it everywhere. Just think of the description of the digital natives. Yeah, the high stress on flexibility. Okay, there is everyday English skills. Okay, is expected by employers. Yeah, because when you think of the international job market, so this is kind of guaranteed, but employers expect from the candidates to have some form of certification just to show their language skills. Of course, it will be tested sooner or later within the work reality, but at the very beginning, they ask candidates for their levels, for their skills levels. And if it's not recognized by international certificate, then you can just say, okay, but how can I be sure that your language level is at this point? Okay. Yes, the certificate never expires. This is the international certificate. You get it for life, depending on the level you take. Yes, this is recognized around the world because we are dealing with the international certificate. Okay, thanks a lot. So if you have something, so this is it might be the good starting point for your future test taker to start a conversation about it, or basically ask them what are their needs about the computer-based test, or what are the things they need to know just to prepare effectively. But during these 2 minutes, you managed to find quite a few really interesting examples from the page. So imagine the scale of your knowledge that will happen by the end of the 6th webinar this year. Yes, Justina, I would suggest contacting the local Pearson contact and just get on the official page for the test center. We're gonna talk about finding the testing place, the test center, or at home during the last webinar. But if it's really important for you right now, I would contact the local Pearson representative within your region. Okay, and the first thing that you see that my professional environment is around teachers, students, teenagers attending the school. So I had a chance to talk with them. The results are available just in 2 weeks. Yes, Tiara, that's true. And this is also really important for the digital natives. So I had a chance to ask a question to my fellow teachers, the different students. Hey, if you think of the computer-based testing, just using your knowledge that you have right now, what are the things that are really important to make it as effective as possible? And this information that you are seeing right now are the things that they said. They're like, hey, well, the computer means computer. So this is quite obvious, but you need to be aware of the fact that you'll be taking it in front of the computer. So pay attention to settings, especially if you are taking this test from home. We're gonna talk about settings in detail during the last webinar. The third one was really interesting because it's like, make sure you know how to use your headset and microphone. And I said, really? This is the key takeaway that you would suggest at the very beginning. And some of them said, yeah, because whenever you're under stress or whenever you are not accustomed to using the headphones or whatever, you have the microphone or you play with the headphones all the time, this is not something you want to do during the test, because this could influence your score. Make sure you have the stable connection. The testing center, everything is organized, yeah? But once you choose, because you cannot travel in case of a lockdown, for example, hopefully it will not happen again, but you choose to take it from home, so you need to have stable connection. So a cable connection rather than Wi-Fi. And the keyboard, the last one, please know how to use it. This is one of the things that I've heard, that some people, if they are not used to using the keyboard, so it should be included within this preparation protocol. So instead of asking candidates, for example, to write an essay on paper, I know the handwriting, etc. This is really important. But in the preparation pathway, why don't we ask them to write it using the keyboard, and especially teaching them to turn off the spell checker, because there is no spell checker in the test. Because using the Word is very easy when you have the spell checker working on, so underlining everything in red and correcting automatically. So use the keyboard, use the Word documents, and turn off the spell checker. The second element, so this is what we've discovered, it's very flexible. And this means that this test can be booked 24 hours in advance. Okay, so there are no fixed exam sessions. So it means that you don't need to wait throughout the whole year for the exam window or the exam session. And if you miss this opportunity, the next one will happen within a month or two, or within the next half a year. You can book a test 24 hours in advance, and you can just get it as soon as possible. And the test is under 2 hours in a single session. Okay, so you don't have to book separate time window for section 1, and you don't have to book the separate time window for section 2. Just 2 hours in front of the computer, either at the test center location or at home, and you can take Pearson English International certificate. So this flexibility for the digital natives is quite important, because either they have the short-term plans or the long-term plans, but they need to be flexible. The next elements worth remembering, the results are available in less than 2 weeks. So you don't need to wait several months to get your results and to get your certificates. So you're gonna get the paper certificate and you're gonna get the digital score report. So in the digital score report, you're gonna have that skills breakdown, and you're gonna have the suggestions how to improve your language, because the Pearson English International Certificate can be taken from A1 to C2. So it can be taken actually by the end of every language course, finishing either with the certificate, or you can aim for finishing your language course with the international certificate at B2 or B1 level. So the certificate and the digital score report will be available to every candidate. And there is a range of materials, free and purchased. I'm gonna take you through the list of the materials which is available. And this is really important. There's no specific preparation is required. So from time to time, we are getting this information. So are there any specific course books that are required or recommended? Since this is the general English, you can prepare for international certificate using our official general English course books, actually any course books, but make sure that you will implement the knowledge about the structure of the test, the knowledge about the exam item types in this preparation program, because the familiarity with the test and the familiarity with the item types, it's also really, really important. So make sure you can use any course books, but please remember to include the knowledge about the test in the preparation program that you'll be leading. The results are for life. As you said, the international certificate will never expire. And this is the international certificate. And this is one of the sentences I heard some time ago, like, hey, we are global. So this is no longer about the local elements. This is about being international, especially when we think of the digital natives. When they use the internet and when they think of studying abroad, there are a lot of online programs offering opportunities to study abroad and living in the home country, or just finding the job abroad, but still working remotely. This is what pandemic showed us that this is really possible, and this is happening right now. And the test is really secure, because when you go to the testing center, authorized testing center, there is a range of security measures taken just to minimize or to remove any risk of fraudulent behavior. However, there is also a range of really high security measures, especially when the candidate is taking the test from home, because this is the international certificate. And we're gonna talk about the security measures during the last webinars, because these are the things candidates need to remember about so that they could have a chance to take this test effectively. Because if they fail to remember about the things like, for example, cleaning of your desk, or not playing with the camera, or not covering the camera, if they fail to remember about it, they are likely to lose they're likely to have their certificate revoked, and basically to lose their opportunity to use their knowledge. Okay, so the security measures are also really important, and we're gonna talk about it. Test structure, all the skills are included. So the reading, speaking, listening, and writing. So this is the computer reality. So they will be using the headphones, they will be using the keyboard, they will be using the screen. So everything takes place in front of the computer. There is an optional 10-minute break in between the sections. So there is a section speaking and listening, and there is a section reading and writing. Altogether, there are 13 item types, but the exact item types included in a particular test depend on the test level, whether it's A1 or C2. And please remember that we mostly talk about the integrated skills. So you've got the listening and writing, okay? You've got reading and speaking, and there is also some set of item types devoted to single skills, but it's good to perceive computer-based tests like as an integrated skills test. This is what's happening in reality. So you're not using single skills in most cases, that there is the mixtures of skills used. And there are instructions provided when they see every item type, so that they know how to follow the particular item type, and they know that they are informed about the time they have to create an answer for a specific item type. You will find the complete list on our official page and you have access to it. But just so I've selected some of the item types that are potentially new for the candidates. For example, reading aloud. Yes. So the candidate is asked to read aloud a sentence or a short text on the screen. Just think about your teaching reality, and this is the question without answering. If this type of activity is already present in my classes, or maybe it's not present. And how can you use the course book that you're using right now just to practice this item type? There's a listen and repeat. So you listen to a short text and then you need to repeat it. Describe image. All the course books, they offer no shortage of different alternatives with different pictures, different photos, starting from A1, how to describe an image. Listen to a conversation. So there is a conversation and there are some questions to answer afterwards. The passage recall, it's really interesting. So you need a short story or a piece of text, and then the text disappears. And the learner has to reconstruct the text. And this is the question that I have right now. If you could help me, how would you work with your students with this item type, the passage recall? What can you do? What skills do you think are essential to be really good at this item type? Okay, so you've got a text, a short story, and after some time it disappears and you need to reconstruct the text. How could you work with this item type in the language classroom? Anyone? Any ideas? Memory, okay, training the memory. Okay, Yelena, yes, summarizing. But please remember the testing reality means a bit of stress. Memory, okay. The Mariana, the note-taking. Yes, you've got the point. It's really important to teach your students the beautiful science of effective note-taking, because the passage will disappear. And if it's the higher the level, the bigger the passage. And in all likelihood, they will not manage to remember everything. But what really matters in this one is effective note-taking. And you can also use the standard course book, and we're gonna show you how to do it in training for this item time, even if the instruction is different, but you create the similarity and the familiarity. This is what we talked about, the radiation problem, okay? You're gonna teach them how to work with the text in the course book. However, you can instruct your students, hey, you can use this knowledge in the computer-based testing reality. Okay, so this is the item type that will help you to be better, effective note-taking. And dictation. Yes, when students are doing computer-based tests, there is a digital notepad digitally, and they can take notes. Okay, they cannot use pen and paper, but they can take notes digitally. Okay, and the dictation. Okay, so you listen to a short sentence and you write what they heard. So this is just the flavor of the things that the candidates would be expected during the computer-based test. And then what can you do to support yourself in the preparation path, or to support your learners in just learning effectively? The first element, you will see the link in the chat. I want you to open the link about the readiness test, and the same, use your curiosity and tell me what are the things that are really important. What are the things that you think are useful, would be useful for your candidates to know about the readiness test, okay? Just open the link, study it quickly, use your curiosity. If you find something interesting, just type it in the chat. What is a readiness test? What are the benefits of the readiness test? Okay, Natalia predicts the overall readiness. Okay, and there is a complete breakdown by skills. Thanks a lot. Okay, there are some recommendations for learning. Thanks a lot, Natalia. Marianna, it's about the confidence booster. We're gonna talk about confidence booster because this is quite important. Yes, that's true. So when you are preparing your students for the computer-based test, it's really important to know that there is this wonderful tool, the readiness test. Basically, you can check whether your candidates are ready to take the readiness, the international certificate. So it gives you the overall score. This is the color coding. So either you can be ready, potentially ready, or not ready. There is a skills breakdown. and you'll find the recommendation with the suggested activities from the course books that you can use to upskill yourself. Okay, so the readiness test, it could be used at the very beginning of the preparation course, just to see what is the knowledge at the very beginning, or it could be used just before taking the international certificate. The things I heard from teachers, basically, it's easy to use and the things work. It's not falling apart. So it's easy to use, and there is a color coding, so it's very graphic for candidates to see whether you are ready, potentially ready or not ready. And this is something which I really like. Sometimes they call it the confidence booster, or I heard it, this is from life, which is the confidence tamer. I think I would call it the overconfidence tamer, because this is really important. Before the international certificate, you offer the readiness test to check if the candidate is ready. So if you're ready, so there is a really big boost in the confidence, you can take the test. However, some teachers told me it's also important to tame this overconfidence for some candidates. When they think they are ready and they want to take it, they can take it by booking 24 hours in advance, and they are pressed for time. But this test can also tame their energy, and you can talk with this group or with this candidate saying, okay, please remember there are no fixed exam sessions. So you don't need to wait the whole year for the next session. But I think we should work for the next month or so, because you are not ready in your speaking skills. So we should put greater stress on the speaking skill development. And then we can work towards taking international certificate within a month or within 2 months or within 2 weeks, depending on the situation. Okay, so the readiness test. The next element, once you click the link, I want you to find the information which is called the guarantee to pass. Okay, you'll see the link in the chat soon. And just find an element which is called guarantee to pass. And if you type it in the chat, yes, I can see it. Can you see this element? You need to scroll down a bit. Yes, Madonna, Agnieszka, that's true. Thanks a lot. And then there is a button you can download the PDF with the specific instruction. So the guarantee to pass action is valid till the July 2023. So you'll get the details by your own studies. But in short, if the candidate gets a readiness test and he gets an overall score as ready, and if within a month he takes the international certificate and for some reason he or she fails, you can contact us. There is all the protocol is in this PDF, and the students will be assigned for free another test of this level. Okay, so this is the guarantee to pass. I think it's a nice strategy, and it's worth keeping it in mind when you'll be preparing your candidates for the international certificate. So the guarantee to pass, sometimes it's good to call it like offering a second chance. Okay, the second chance for your candidates in case something happens, but well, it doesn't have to happen. But in case as a security, there is an option that you can use this element during your preparation course. The next element worth sharing with candidates is the warm-up app. So you'll have the link in the chat. Basically, this is a free application for iOS and Android. So feel free to download the app in your own free time and just play with it. So these are the sample screens that I took today from the app. And what I really like is the opportunity that once you do the task, you have a chance to either listen to or read the model answer. And of course, you've got the very clear feedback instruction, whether the reading task was correct or not correct. When there is an element that you can record yourself on the phone, then you have a chance to replay and to listen to your recording. And you have a chance to compare your recording to the model answer. So this application is for free. It is designed as a self-study material, but with some elements of creativity. It could be also included into in the standard language classroom, physical or digital. Please remember that the digital natives are not treating mobile phones. It's something which is quite strange. They are actually more than welcome to use the mobile phone during the lesson, on condition that they know how to use the mobile phone and on condition that they are not distracted with opening different applications. But this is something that you can test it out with yourself, share it with your student, and see how it works in the reality for free. And there is a list of different materials that we prepared for you. So there is a test familiarization guide, the test center handbook, the test question videos. We're going to talk about videos during the forthcoming webinars, but just to give you a flavor, you can play these videos and you can go through every item types with your students just to familiarize them with the item types, okay? So there are lesson plans that you can download in the section for the sections for teachers. You can download the lesson plans. They are ready to use. They've got the recordings. They've got the model answers that you can play for your students. There is a guide for you to familiarize with, and there is a warm-up app, the readiness test. And we are working on something which is called a clickable demo. It will be made available soon. So you'll have a chance to click through all the item types with your candidates and just to offer them this exam exposure, just to show them during the preparation, during the preparation course, just to offer them this familiarity, because when they finally sit this international certificate, they'll have this knowledge and opportunity to have the knowledge transfer. Hey, I was working with the dictation during my English classes, and I'm familiar with it. I was working with the passage recall, and this is not something which is not new for me. I can transfer my knowledge from the lesson, and I can use this knowledge effectively during the test, okay? And the course books. Please remember, as I told you at the very beginning, so either the business partner, the Speak Out second edition, or the forthcoming Speak Out third edition, the roadmap, the gold experience, or the wider world, please remember that you can work with these course books during the preparation preparation course, and you can use those elements to prepare them effectively for the computer-based test. You will need to readjust, or you will need to basically to equip or enrich your preparation course with the information from the test taker familiarization guide, from the test taker handbook, from the lesson plans, so that they will have the chance to familiarize themselves with the item types. But the course books allow the candidates to learn effectively a language, okay? So this is not true that you need a specific course book to prepare for the computer-based test. And during the forthcoming webinars, we'll be showing you how to work with those elements. That will be all for the first webinar. And just to summarize, please remember that our students thrive in the environment which is familiar to them. You know what is familiarity, yeah? So they can transfer the knowledge. They are in emotional agreement. They are exposed to a language which is slightly above their current level of competence, and it's part of their nature. So we had the chance to look at the description of the digital natives, okay, about their characteristics, about the fact that they are born with technology, okay? It's not something new for them. I showed you the ecosystem that we created, from starting with the leveling, going through the benchmark, the international certificate, and the final section of the verify. And then we had a chance to take a look at the Pearson English International Certificate by looking at the official website. What are the things that are interesting at the very beginning for you as an experienced teachers, and that they might be interesting for your potential candidates. So there are 6 levels. There are 4 skills tested in one single session. The test is on demand and it's computer-based, can be taken from a test center or can be taken at home using online proctoring. And we're gonna talk about online proctoring quite soon. And the final question I have to you, what is your key takeaway from this webinar? A single thought, a single sentence, a single observation. Please share it in the chat. Your single takeaway. Thanks a lot, Karina. Informative and encouraging. Okay, thanks a lot, Natalia. Informative, Rasa, thank you. Anyone else? Andra, there is a section, and you will find it in the handbook, that you can make accommodation for the special needs students. Clear idea of the generation C, generation connected. Okay, can't wait to start working towards computer-based. Challenging, which is true. Okay, so warm up. Okay, I didn't know about it. Natalia, go for it. Okay, a modern solution, Brigitte. Okay, thanks a lot. So keep those elements you want to remember with yourself. Okay, motivated me to find more information and to implement in my teaching activities. Yes. Okay, just experiment with it. Great resources. Take from this webinar anything that would support you in your educational path and would support you in your preparation pathway so that you could have your test takers take the international certificate. And we are meeting next week. So there are 5 more webinars about the computer-based test. Enjoy the rest of your day and looking forward to seeing you soon. Thank you for your interaction. Thank you for using the chat and enjoy. I appreciate your presence. Thanks.